And now, it's time for your Low Country Real Estate Market Update. It's the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show. Brian is one of the top 1% real estate agents in Charleston. Here's your host, Brian Beatty.
Good morning, Charleston, and welcome to another edition of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. This is our end of the year show. It has been a doozy, to say the least. What an incredible year it's been in real estate, not just here in Charleston, but nationally. And so this show is the one that I think a lot of folks look forward to. It's where we talk about kind of the past, the present, and the future, right? The three ghosts of Christmas, if you will. We're going to talk about what happened this year and leading up to this year, kind of how we got into the position we're in now. We're going to talk about where we currently sit in this market. And then, of course, we're going to talk about what I think is going to happen next year. We've got a bunch of different, articles to go through, information to sort through. I'm going to talk about us, of course, here locally in Charleston, and really what all this means for you as the local listener, or maybe somebody that's watching these videos on YouTube or TikTok or Facebook, Instagram, whatever, to help better understand what's going to happen in this market so that you can make some informed decisions. There's a lot of information out there, and it's really hard to sift through. I mean, quite honestly, you've got a bunch of different people offering a bunch of different opinions on what they think is going to happen. I just so happen to have, relevant experience as somebody that's been selling real estate here locally for 18 years and have done about 1,500 transactions in that amount of time. So I share my experiences as somebody that's a top producing real estate agent to help you plan for the road ahead. So I will say quickly, you guys are going to have questions about what this information means for you, what it means for your home, what it means for your strategy if you're thinking of selling and buying, or buying your first home, or maybe you're going to sell your home that you've been in for quite a long time. Maybe you're moving out of the area. There's a bunch of different scenarios here, but I want to help you understand where we are right now, where I think we're going, and what kind of got us into this position in the first place. So if you'd like to reach out to me, you want some information on what your home is worth, you want to know more about, inventory coming available. I've mentioned multiple times on this program that we, as a real estate team that sells a lot of real estate here locally, have a large database of people that we consistently stay in touch with and we consistently add to, which is a real benefit for our clients in that if they're thinking about buying a house, we can tell them what's going to be on the market soon, right? We call that shadow inventory or off-market listings. And of course, if you're thinking of selling your home, we have a slew of buyers in almost any category and any price range in Charleston waiting for the right home to hit the market. So might make sense for you as a seller to kind of skip to the front of the line and work with one of the buyers that we've already identified looking for a home like what you're about to sell. So if you'd like to reach out to me, my number is 843-800-0065, 843-800-0065, or our website is listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Or lastly, you can send me an email, brian@brianbeattyteam.com. So let's get into this, right? The three ghosts of Christmas. The past, the present, the future. So let's talk a little bit about the past. I'm going to go back all the way to 2018, right before COVID. And I was actually listening to the show that I recorded at the very end of 2018, giving predictions for 2019. And well, I was somewhat right. I was obviously somewhat wrong because guess what happened, right? COVID. And it threw the market for a loop. We weren't expecting that one, but it happens, right? So let's talk a little bit first about 2018. Okay. And let's focus somewhat specifically on just prices. We're going to talk about prices, inventory, interest rates, all that good stuff. So let's just go and let's just focus on pricing for a second. This gives you, I think, for the local listener, the local property owner, a good idea of how far we've come over the past several years. And for those of you that have owned your homes in that period of time, the massive amount of equity you've amassed over time. So in the entire Charleston area, the Charleston Tri-County area, or really there's Berkeley, Charleston, Colleton, and Dorchester County that we as an MLS collect and share data on. So for the entirety of the Charleston area in 2018, the median sales price was $266,500. You went up to 2022 and it jumped to $398,615, which was an increase of 49.6%. In Berkeley County, it went from 238 to 376. In Charleston County, it went from 345 to 516. In Dorchester County, it went from $227,000 to $350,000. Almost all of them having a 50% or more increase in value over that 4-year period. Now, if you look at where we are, just as we're kind of closing the loop on what's happening with prices right now, as of the end of November, we obviously don't have December's numbers yet, but in Berkeley County, the median sales price is $380,000. In Dorchester County, it's $340,000. And in Charleston County, as of this month, it's $563,000. I mean, if you do like a 3-month average on that data, then Charleston County jumps up to $575,000 because of the somewhat cyclical, seasonal nature of our market. But like you take Charleston County as an example, that is now at least the 3-month average of $575,000 compared to $345,000 at the end of 2018. That is a significant amount of equity, right? So that's part of the reason why we haven't seen this tidal wave of foreclosures that so many doom and gloomers were talking about, is because we have equity, right? Now, the big issue that has really impacted the market is mortgage rates, right? We went from 7 to 8% this year, which priced out just that increase alone from 7% to 8%, priced out an additional 5 million people from being able to buy a house. 28 million people were priced out of the market since 2021. So we've had a massive amount of people that have been sidelined because they just either can't afford or it doesn't make financial sense to purchase a property right now, right? We've had a lot of discussions with a lot of people that are just sitting back and waiting for interest rates to come down. But that conjunction with a 50, 60, 70% increase in prices over a 4 or 5 year period have obviously priced a lot of people out of the market. Now, thankfully, we've had a lot of people over the years, especially when COVID hit, decide to relocate, right? They could work from anywhere. The floodgates opened, and guess where they came? They came to the Southeast, and a lot of them came to Charleston, South Carolina. Just drive around, look at the license plates, right? Not a lot of them are South Carolina. And I know for those of you obviously that live here, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But the reality is, with the increase in prices and the increase in interest rates, it has led us to the point now where our market is to an extent kind of gridlocked, right? Because prices haven't fallen. In fact, prices have gone up a little bit this year. And when you look at, if you just go by the numbers, the share of mortgage-free households jumped from 34% to a little over 39% in the past decade, which is the highest it's been since 2005. On top of that, about 80% of homeowners have at least 20% equity in their house, which is what's staving off foreclosure numbers and distress sales in general. The other thing that happened this year and most recently, and if you're not caught up with this, listen up, because this is really good news. The interest rate has gone down fairly significantly over the past few weeks. We went from a high of a little over 8% a few months ago to being now down to like 6.75%, 6.82 to be exact. I mean, it dropped over a quarter point in a day earlier this week. And it's dropped almost an entire point over the course of the past 30 days. So we've had a really nice decrease in interest rates that has obviously fueled affordability and transactions for our local market. It's amazing how sensitive our market is to interest rates and to, of course, monthly payments, right? Because that's really what it's all about. We can look at price, we can look at interest rates. At the end of the day, how much is it going to cost me per month to own this home? And can I make sense out of that? In addition to what else has happened this year? An increase in taxes and a massive increase in insurance costs. I mean, you got folks that are living on like Isle of Palms and Sullivan's Island, Folly Beach. They're paying $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year, sometimes more, just in insurance and taxes. It's increasing their monthly cost or their annual cost of ownership. And some of these folks, in fact, a good chunk of these folks, it's not like they were millionaires when they bought that property. It's just that the market has changed so much over time that, of course, they're the massive, beneficiary of appreciation, but they're also having to dig into their potentially fixed income to continue to carry that property. So There's a lot going on there. I just shared a lot of information with you. I want to take a quick break because this is going to be a very information heavy show. I really want you guys to understand kind of where we are right now and where we're headed. And I'm hoping that this will all make sense by the end of it. But again, this is all fairly generalized information that is fairly specific to our location, but not necessarily specific to you. You need to understand what's happening in your specific area and your specific price range as it relates to inventory and pending and closed sales and days on market and the percentage of the listing price that you're going to get when you sell and how many showings there should be on a monthly basis and how much month supply of inventory there is. All of these things we take into consideration, of course, when we're talking with folks about the plan to help them buy or sell a property. So if that's something that you would like for us to do for you, I'm more than happy to just give you an idea of what your home is worth. We also, of course, have property tax bills coming up. You might want to question that appraised value. I can provide you with comparable data and an analysis to say this is what your home is worth. We've helped a lot of folks save money on taxes that way or determine what their replacement costs should be on their insurance. A lot of people are underinsured right now. So I guess just an easy way to say that we're here to help in any way that we can. So if you'd like to reach out, my number 843-800-0065. That's 843-800-0065. Or go to listingsincharleston.com. Stick around, folks. This is the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show right here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA.
Join us for another edition of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show. Contact Brian Beatty online at listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Or call him at 843-888-0065. That's 843-888-0065.